Okay, good morning, all of you. Today will be our last day of rigid body. Not last day in the means. Again, we'll study whenever time available. So let me pick up some good problems from Pathfinder and other some Olympiad books where some mixed concepts are there. Not like one rolling or that one. Almost all ideas will be involved in one problem. Like this is what I'm just picking a problem. Just do listen carefully. You need not to bother anything because all the data, everything or information is given. I'll just keep on write the things because all these are lengthy. To be frank, actually I need half an hour to discuss such a problems. But I think time constraint is there. So I'll write down all the things. I'll scribble everything. Just make very keen observation. This one. And do practice such numericals. Like if not now, so when you enter into the revision, there at least I think you should sit, take pen, paper, analyze one, and carefully you get onto things. Fine. So let me begin with this question. Read the question. Press each other uniformly. I think I'm having. This is something very important on their entire tapered length. What do you mean by tapered length? Slant length. The slant length of a cone is what called as a tapered length. This one. So I'll begin like this. So initially, so can rotate about their fixed central axis. So what are that axis here? No, that axis is something. This one, fixed central axis. So this axis is fixed. This axis is fixed, and this also are fixed, and they're identical. They're identical. So let we'll give some name like this. Let h be the height of the cone. No, not given. I'm going to assume. Let me assume here only because I have to, instead of drawing so many, let h be the height of the cone. We are assuming it. Look at Singh. He has not said anything about cone. No, just he said they're identical. Finish over, and he has left it. So can we put height of the cone same, and they will have same slant length. This particular thing is called a slant length. This one and theta theta. This will be theta. Okay, no. Is asking angular velocity. So shall we apply what like? Conservation of angular momentum, something is what we know. I think we have discussed some yesterday, a few problems, no, like a 3 disk. Finally, what happened? Uh, the disk, all the disk what will be rotating, or when rotating disk comes in contact with another rotating disk, another disk at rest, it will also start rotating. We have discussed so many numericals. So all those ideas, what all we studied, we are going to apply everything in an order here. I'll proceed like this. So this will be okay, another cone. The same diagram. Okay, these are the cones, so we'll extend it. This is the axis. They will press each other. So what I do is like, let me consider here. Okay, now we'll proceed here. They'll press uniform, so we know, okay, this is theta. We assumed it. Height of the cone is this one. So let me take this is x. This will become h minus x, this particular length. I can't show so many arrows, this particular length, and this is some reference vertical lines I picked up here. Now let this be equal to dx. In fact, dx is very small. To make it in diagram visible, I'm putting in that way here. Now you can see I'm interested in this strip which I'm interested in. They will press uniformly. So can you make a guess this one, how it will be? And uniform cones is telling that one. So though they are rigid body, it's not an ideal rigid body. So definitely what happens, they will press each other and a slight deformation. And because of that, what happens, a common area of contact will come between the cones. The common area of the contact, let me show like this here. This is the thing. Call this is DL. This is that slant item. So we'll do one thing. I need points here. No, this is A, B is telling. Q1, Q2. Is that okay? No. That slant length, I'm showing that one. If this height of the cone is h, if the height of the cone is h, what can be the Q1, Q2? H cos theta. So I'll give all the supportive diagrams. Huh? What can be Q1, Q2? Cos theta equal to h by, so therefore this should be equal to how much? H cos theta. Sorry, h by cos theta. Keep it here now. Now I assumed a dx. So what can be this particular width? So that elemental one will come here. So dx by cos theta. Okay, now let's come directly to that one. What is the area of this strip? What is the area of this strip? The area of this strip, let it be dA. This initial is very important. I think once you can get this idea, you can manage. And this is a DL. What is the area of this strip? DL into dx cos theta. So what is dA is equal to? All right, area of that elemental strip. And this Q1, Q2 is just a small line. It's like a line. What is the width of that? DL. Two cones. I think more than this I can't make you. You should have the enough knowledge of outside world. As a teacher, I can't draw more than this diagrams. The area of that elemental. So where is this dA? That dA is what here? Okay, able to get this one? Q1, Q2 is a strip. Don't write, sir, Q1, Q2 will be surface area of a cone. I think two cones, when they come in contact, what happen? A small line, what happen? At a line, they'll be in contact, no? And due to not a perfect rigid body, some DL length, what happen? Will be in contact, DL and Q1, Q2. So what is the surface of the cones which will come in contact with each other? That is what Q1, Q2, H cos theta into DL is what the area of common contact, or the common area which are in contact. Anything you can call that one. Okay, let's come for this one. You look at pressing each other uniformly on their entire tapered length. What do you mean by tapered length? Where the radius decreases, that's called as a tapered length. This Q1, Q2 is called as a tapered length. Okay, I think we should be very good in our English also, no? So many things are needed. Huh? Q1, Q2 is called as tapered length. It's telling that pressure is constant uniformly. Okay, let's not debate on this one. Uniformly is telling. So therefore, uniformly means pressing each other uniformly. So therefore, the pressure must be constant. So therefore, here I'll take the pressure. How you define pressure? dF by dA. So therefore, I can write dF is equal to P into dA. dF pressure, we don't know that. Okay, let's see what I can do with that. And dA is what? DL dx by cos theta. This is the force. How do that force will act? Normal to that one. And where do that blue color strip? I'll show it once again. There's a dl. This length is dx cos theta. And how do that force will act? That force will act here. This is a small elemental area. To make you understand, I shown it elemental area also big. This particular strip is what dx, no, dx is very small, just you can draw one line. To make you understand, I'm putting like this one. So like this, what happened? There'll be exiting force. Okay, let's come for this one. So what is this particular cone A? There are two cones are there, no? There's a cone A, there's a cone B. What can be this? This distance should be h minus x. This is theta. Okay, by symmetry. By symmetry. Okay, there's a cone A, no, which is rotating. I can pick up anything, omega A, that one. So let me choose that cone A, angular velocity like this. Now let's come for 2 points. Let me take into picture. What will happen to the velocity of the point 1 on the cone A? Will be into the plane of paper, and let the radius of this part, this tapered or this particular shaded strip. So this one here, let it be R1. The radius of, let it be R2. How the friction should act at point 1 on this particular strip, or the friction should act. Say velocity of point 1 will be into the plane, means how the friction should act out of the plane. Friction should oppose relative motion. I don't have any other diagram to show here. Please do imagine. Because the question is of that kind. It's a three-dimensional one. No? The velocity of point 1 will be directed into the plane. So the friction should oppose relative motion. So therefore, the friction at point 1 on this particular strip will be out of the plane. Here it will be out of the plane. Then the friction acting here, and the friction will always act to oppose relative motion. So then in what direction the velocity of point 2 will be? The velocity of point 2 will be into the plane, out of the plane. The friction will be into the plane. So how the velocities of these points will be? Or the velocity of the, so velocity of, so I'll repeat once again, the velocity of point 1 will be into the plane. The friction will act like this, out of the plane. Then friction on the point 2, how it will act into the plane. And that friction what will set up a torque, and that torque what happen will make it to rotate. So how the velocity of point 2 should be into the plane, out of plane, should also be into the plane. So in what possible direction the cone B also starts rotating? Yes, because of like a friction is there, so it will start rotating. I think we have discussed yesterday's problem. I just made a background. So what is the thing now? The point 1 on the cone A will have velocity directed into the plane of paper. So if you want, you can define the axis. So what is point 1? V1 will be velocity of point 1 will be in along negative z axis. Shall I put like this? Will be along negative or parallel to negative z axis. If you want, you can bring this self is y. Okay, will be along negative z axis. Then how the friction on that point 1 will act? Friction at point 1 will act along positive z axis. I think this is the core idea now. Tell me how the friction on the point 2 should act. Friction should always oppose relative motion, and action reaction are equal and oppose friction at point 2 will act along negative z axis. Tell me, like, this friction acting at point 2 will set up a torque, and that torque weapon will make the rotate. So in what possible direction the cone B must rotate? The cone B must rotate clockwise here. So what is the possible direction of this? So it is going to be like this. This should be the angular velocity of the cone B. Like this, I think this is what is asking us. So finally, what is asking us to calculate this particular angular velocity. Okay, no. So velocity. Nothing, man. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Don't bother. I'll change it. Don't bother. Okay, because it'll be easy for me to show it. Huh? Okay, no, I think there's a one part. Okay, tell me, like, what will happen gradually. What when the cone B also starts rotating? No, what is look at the question? How much angular velocity will the cone B ultimately acquire due to friction between the? How much ultimately? What do you mean ultimately? After a long time. Finally, what will happen? Finally, what will happen? Both the cones will rotate with a constant angular velocity. That particular angular velocity is asking. What is the angular velocity of the cone B? Sir, why do finally? Next question comes. Why do finally? Okay, let's write V1, V2, the velocities of that. This diagram is a key for us because all the concepts now revolve around this diagram. So what is V1? You can write it. V1 should be equal to R1 into omega 1. But we don't know R1. Can we define? I think tan theta we have. Tan theta equal to R1 by H minus X. And also looking at this lower triangle, tan theta equal to R2 by wait, some sorry, this should be X, no? Same height it is. Yeah. Just I made correction because this length should be equal to this length, no? So therefore this is X and this will be H minus X. No, so what is R1? You can replace R1 equal to H minus X tan theta omega. Similarly, can you write V2? V2 should be equal to R2 omega 2. What is R2 is equal to? X tan theta omega 2. Okay, now small diagram. If you look at the point 192, those who are not understanding anything, at least look at this one. If the velocity of point V1 like this, how the friction should act? Should be like this. And the friction on the lower block should act here. So this friction will make it to move. So why V1, V2 in same direction? Why V1, V2 both are along negative z axis? I think this is enough for me. Okay, fine. Yeah. Now, how long this friction will act? I think almost we are able to finish off the problem. How long this friction will act here? How long this friction will act? As long as, so now let's get into the problem. Now, definitely, shall I say there's a torque acting, this friction, F into how the friction will act here. Friction at point 1 will act along positive there. The friction acting here will set up a torque. And how do that torque will be? Opposite angular velocity. I think that particular strip, I'll show it. You are standing here. You are standing here and drawing this die and looking at this particular thing. So then what is the radius of this R1? Omega 1. Now tell me how you see velocity V1 like this, no? And the friction in this direction. Tell me what is the torque by the friction now? Should be opposite. Will act like this. Similarly, for this particular disk, I need lot of space. Yeah. For similarly for the lower disk, radius is R2. Tell me how the velocity of point 2 will be along negative z-axis. So this is the negative z-axis. We'll see, you know. I'll come to the diagram, I'll put it. This will be negative z-axis, positive z-axis. Let's take this one. So V1 will be like this. Now following the conventions what we made so that everyone will get, it will be easier. Now for the second disk, how you'll see the velocity at point 2, the velocity of point 2 will be, velocity at point 2 will be along negative z-axis. The velocity at point 2 will be negative z-axis. And the friction will act in that direction only. Then how the angular velocity? Angular velocity should be like this. Then how the torque is acting like this. I think I'm giving enough of. Where is this diagram? This diagram is related to this particular strip. So I'll give some color for it. I think if you are able to think this much, I think you can solve it. I think almost 90% of problem is over. This is what the most difficult thing. Okay, fine. So this person is what? He has drew that one. Okay, let's come for this one. Okay, now we know V1, V2, velocities, everything we brought it. Finally, what will happen? After a long time, what will happen? Like this, there's a torque, what we are showing, this d tau 1 on this one. What is this d tau 2 on this one? So like this, what happen? You assume a strip like this. You assume one strip here, one strip here, one strip here. So like this here also on that particular circular strip or circular thin circular disc, a torque will be acting. Agree this? And here also torque will be acting. So what will happen to cone B now? The resultant cone B, the cone B starts rotating. Okay, now the most important part will come. So finally what will happen? A steady state is reached, ultimately is telling. Finally what will happen? The cone A, cone B both start rotating. Then angular velocity of cone B and cone A will remain constant. You can ask questions, sir, why this happens? Now look at this. Rotate, if cone A is rotated with a constant angular velocity omega. Are you understanding question? It's not that cone A given angular velocity and released. What is thing? The cone A is continuously being rotated with a constant angular velocity omega. That omega A only, I'll write it as omega 1 in the end. It's not that one. So this, one more clarification. Somebody is asking, sir, what is omega 1? Omega A only. Since omega A, omega B will be a little bit difficult, no? So I'm writing like this. No. Finally, what happened? The angular velocity of the cone A will remain constant. What happened? The cone B starts rotating. Because as the cone A starts rotating, because there is a friction is there. That friction set up a torque. Finally, what will happen? Where to come finally. So finally what will happen is the cone B also will acquire certain velocity and the angular velocity of cone A and cone B will remain constant. Why do that happen? Because the net torque on cone A will become zero. How that is happens? Finally, so what happens? The cone B will be rotating with certain angular velocity, let's say omega 2. Then you look at the torque acting on this part. I'll directly come to the cone A. We'll break up this into two parts. I don't know what is that distance, this one. This left part of the cone, there's a cone A, cone A, that one. The left part of cone A. So what will happen to is the torque on this, let's assume that is acting in this direction. Say call anything some tau L, anything you can call it. The torque on this will acting in this direction. Now you can ask questions of why that one, because we know. So there's a, you look at this one. What is the linear velocity at this particular point? Of course, cone B is having angular velocity. What is linear velocity? Because R is negligible, almost here. So as I move up, what happens? The linear velocity keeps on increases. No, linear velocity of this point will be into the plane of both the point, that one. So if you look at this, the linear velocity of this of the on the slant height on the cone B, on the slant on the cone B will keep on increase. The linear velocity of a point on a slant, on a cone, on a slant, along the slant line keeps on decreases. No, at this particular point, uh, any name shall I give? Okay, that one here. I think I'll explain. Nobody is able to understand what I'm saying. Let me choose points here. Now, these are the points. So we'll do one thing. P3, P4, P5, P3. Tell me like, which will have more velocity, P3 or P4? VP3 greater than VP4. Will I agree? VP6 will be greater than VP5. Because the velocity of the you can see the radius will be more, no? So the velocity of 0.6 will be more than P5. So tell me now the torque on this in what direction will act here? No, the friction here and the friction here will be in opposite directions. But sir, earlier you said I took one of the strip. Now what happened? I should come for the total cone. So I'm just I'm picking up some point. I'll call this as x naught, where the velocity of this point will become velocity of this point. It can happen, no? And so here what happened? The velocity of these points will be more. It keeps on decreases and becomes zero here. What about velocity of this on the cone B? Zero. And as I move here, it keeps on increases and it becomes maximum here. So there is a one point where the velocity of both the points on the different on the cones will be equal. So velocity of this point will become equal to velocity of this. So where is that point? I'll say let it be at a distance x naught. No, if the friction will always oppose relative motion. Don't say that friction will vanish. It's not like that. Here the velocity of this P3 is greater than P4. Tell me how the friction will act here. The friction will act in this direction. The friction will act in this direction. Okay, it will set up a torque. And what is velocity of P5? Velocity of P5 less than P6. So therefore, the friction here will be, I think I'll torque direction. Velocity of P3 more than P4, no? So therefore, the torque should be, it's also three-dimensional. How to show that? P3 will be greater than P4. So the torque should act here. Yeah. Tau dash, I'll write it. Tau dash. What about P5? P5 will be less than this one. So the torque on this will be this one. So like this, you see the torque. Finally, what will happen? The torque on this region should be equal and opposite to torque on this region. Same thing happens, sir. The torque on this region of the cone B will be equal and opposite to this. And there's a one point where the velocity of these 2 points will be equal. Will I agree this? This is what happens. Don't say that friction will not act finally. Not like that. Friction will be acting in this region. In this region, how the friction will act? Because velocity of point P3 is into the plane. In this region, the friction will be out of the plane along positive z-axis. What about here? The friction here will be acting along negative z-axis. Therefore, the torque will be, and finally, what will happen? The net torque on any one cone will be zero, or either cone A or cone B. This is what happens here. So finally, so what will happen is, this will be rotating. So net torque on each cone will be zero ultimately, because he used the word ultimately, I'll write it. Ultimately, net torque on each cone will be, don't say that on individual each cone. So tau dash will become equivalent opposite to tau double dash. So therefore, net torque on cone A, what shall I write? Net torque on cone A should be equal to this one. So how to calculate that net torque? From where that net torque will come? For that, we need friction. For that, we have a force. So what is this force? dF is a pressing force, no? A friction will be acting. So I'll take help of further diagrams. I think this is the core important part. Later on, I'll shade the colors after the end of the class. Now I can't do coloring everything. 0. This is important. Ultimately, net torque on each cone will be 0. Means that is TA equal to 0 and TB equal to 0. So let's come for again that particular strip. I have to show. This will be how much it is, dx by cos theta. This is dl. How the force df is acting. How the velocity of this particular, let's assume that the strip is having velocity v1 like this. How the friction force should act, should oppose relative motion. So here is what that friction force will come. Agree this opposite to this one. This friction force F into R1 will set up a torque. So how to calculate that torque? So definitely what I say, when I move from Q1 to Q2, when I move from Q1 to Q2, so these are the points. I think P1, P2, I took it. From Q1 to P1, torque will be in one direction, and from P1 to Q2, torque will be in the net torque will be 0 here. So what is the total thing now? So let's calculate the torque acting on individual parts here. So d tau is equal to, shall we say torque acting on this strip? Torque acting on the strip, d tau is equal to mu into df. Okay, what is the df value? Already I think I derived it. df equal to pl dx cos theta. And df into, this is r1, no? Frictional force F into that particular thing. I'm directly writing it that one. So what is F? Frictional force mu df into r1. So what is df is equal to dl dx by cos theta into p into r1. What is r1? R1 we have defined it h minus x tan theta. Mu dl dx p cos theta. R1 will be x tan theta. Okay, this is a generalized equation. We'll keep it here now. Now, as I go from Q1 to P1 and P1 to Q2, what's happening to the torque? Torque will be 0. So I'll break up the net torque equals 0 on any one cone. Let me take on cone A. So then the equations will become, so what is this one? Tau dash net torque will be 0. So, but the torque is different at different points, no? On different circular strips when you take it, no? Here one, there is a d tau. Next, again d tau, like this and all. So therefore, if I integrate from Q1 to P1, I'll get the net torque tau dash. If I integrate from P1 to Q2, I'll get the net torque tau double dash. And those two will be equal and opposite. So somewhere here, I had to write tau dash how to calculate the net torque. I think something very strange, no? Okay, let's do one thing. What is this? Torque acting on the strip. And where is the strip, sir? I am not seeing the strip. Okay, I think that strip is what? This one. Fine. Torque acting on the circular strip. No. Shall we integrate this? From where to where I should integrate this one? From where to where I should integrate? So d tau 0 to x naught. And what is x naught? A point where the velocity of point P1 will become equal to velocity of point. And when no relative motion, definitely friction will not act. Only at one point on the cones, friction will not be acting. And what is that distance? X naught, I'll put it here. Should be equal to, so this should be equal to minus of X naught to H into d tau equals, why negative sign? Because there'll be equal and opposite, no? Torque acting from 0 to x naught will be in one direction. From x naught to b, what happen will be another direction. And all that x I'll measure from here. This x equal to 0 and this is x equal to b. Okay, let's substitute now. I'll get into the calculation part. 0 to x naught mu dl dx cos theta p x tan theta mu dl dx p cos theta x tan theta equals 0. So this is from x naught to h. I think mu dl p tan theta cos theta everything will get eliminated. So we'll end up with only this one, x dx. This will be x dx. This will be x naught to h. What is h? H is height of the cone. Now integrate this. Anybody? Value of this will be x naught square by 2 minus of, this will be x square by 2 x naught h equals 0. So x naught square by 2. I think that the 2 will get eliminated. X naught square h square minus x naught square equal to 0. So finally, what is the x naught equal to? H by root 2. Now we have to write what is, sir, what is that x naught? What is that x naught you are telling? What is that x naught? I think x naught is a point at a distance from the cone where the torque will be, no friction will act here. I think, okay, I'll keep this much here. So once again, I'll go back. Only on cone A, I'll show it. Only on cone A. What is x naught? X naught is a point here. The velocity of this point and the velocity of these 2 points will be equal. What about velocity of this point? I think we have took 3 and 4. V3 greater than V4. This is something very important. So what is the torque? This was, I think, what is the direction we assumed it? This one. Okay, I agree this one. So here what happened? There is no friction will not act only at this particular points because no slipping. So what you can say? No slipping only at these points. And what about V3 greater than V4? Will be slipping will be there and there'll be friction. Due to friction, there'll be torque. So continuously what happens? There'll be torque acting on this. So how the torque acting on this? Once again, I'm stressing it. This will be tau dash, tau double dash. So what about this particular point? V6 will be more. So on this tau dash like this. And what about this one? Should be opposite to that. So net torque on cone A and cone B will be 0. There's a one point where no torque will act here. No friction will act. So what is that point? That point is what? X naught here. So will I agree all of you? So why that happens? Because I think that's what the condition is, that one. because of the way the cones are given. No, so this is what happens here. Okay, what is our question? What is the final angular velocity of cone B? No, that was our question. So why we are taking help of all this particular thing? Okay, I got the point where no slipping occurs. So therefore, I'll take help of this one. I think I entered no. This is the idea which I'm going to write here now. V1 equal to V2. What is V1 equal to? R1 into omega 1. And what is V2 equal to? R2 into omega 2. What is R1 is equal to? H minus X tan theta into omega 1. What is R2 is equal to? X tan theta into tan theta will get eliminated what we assumed it. So what we end up with H minus X omega 1 X omega 2. Where when V1 equal to V2, when X equal to X naught, no? And what is X? What is X? This is X equals 0. This line is X equal to B. So what is this distance? Is what we assumed it X. So put that X naught here, no? So what is X is equal to? H by root 2. This H by root 2. Solve it. You'll get omega 2 is equal to omega 1 into root 2 minus 1. And what is omega 1? Omega A. And what is omega 2? Omega B. Okay, fine. So this is what happens here. So don't say that friction will vanish. No, nothing will happen. The net torque, the friction from Q1 to that particular point, what happened? Friction will be acting from one that only at one point. At point 192, no friction will act here. Remaining at all points on the cone, the friction will be acting along the line Q1, Q2. And this is the main idea. See, all these questions, what happened? 2012, the book came, first Pathfinder. The earlier name was the Olympiad book. 2 volumes were there. So the moment it came in the market, now what happened? First we thought may not be useful, everything. Then we slowly, what happened? Every day I used to solve 5 numericals. And it took almost 3 years to complete that book. Everything is available in Google Drive because I made it everything digitalization. So it's not that something suddenly you can solve 100 problem. Every day I kept a target of let me solve 3 or 4 because time will not permit more than that one. So it took almost 2 years for me to slowly touch each and every problem. And this numerical, it took almost 3 hours for me to generate ideas. So these are problems to learn, not to something for exam or why I'm teaching all this now is so that the moment you feel that, okay, we know everything rotation mechanics, okay, take this problem, work out. Minimum 4-5 hours as a student you have to spend. So they show that we have to learn a lot, no? Because all these are based on, again, basic things only. Let's come for next one. Okay, let's do numericals. Lectures again, no end for it. Advisors. Okay, now read the question. This is something you can say the most beautiful problem what I encode in rotation mechanics. Almost all ideas are introduced here. Almost all ideas you can see. So there are stationary disk is there. So one. Both are identical. Huh? Both are identical. I think I need many such diagrams. Let me keep spare. Yeah. No. One disk, it is given velocity u. Let me call O1, O2, and this is given angular velocity. Omega naught, let me call u naught. Later on I'll change the symbol. Both are having same radius, r. Only it is given translative motion. You can see that one. This is given translative motion. I'll call this a disk 1. This is a disk 2. Now look at it. I think so many things are there here. Perfectly inelastic. Perfectly inelastic. Slipping between the disc seizes. Okay, yes, really given. What do you mean by that? Slipping seizes means initially there's a slipping. Why slipping will occur? Means is indirectly saying surface is frictionless, but there's a friction between what? Between the disc. So how means it's telling slipping seizes. No? Find the angular velocity of disk and the speed of their centers after the collision. The so this one will go and collide. So what actually happens here? I think you see one more thing. Very beautiful part of the question is like it didn't say the perfectly rigid body. So what happened to this will go and collide perfectly in elastic collision. So it will go and deform it. No slight deformation. Don't again don't draw a diagram. I don't know some students sir undergo deformation. See you want to learn here or you don't want to learn. Yeah, some students I don't know, like sir, equal to zero deformation. No body will undergo deformation of to that extent. So slight deformation. It'll be like it's circular, no? Maybe here the way that the point of contact, slight deformation will be there. That's what the E equal to zero means here. And destructive mind should be avoided. Huh? Okay, let's come for this one. This will go and collide. And there's a stationary. Don't get considered. It is rotating about. It's not like rotating and moving. The disc D again. Don't get confused with this. Stationary vertical center means initially it is rotating about a certain axis, and that axis is what fixed. Axis is not moving. The axis is passing through O2. That axis is fixed. The axis is not moving. But the disc, both the discs are free to move and free to rotate. That's what it's saying. Find the angular velocity of the disc and the speed of their centers after the collision. Means both the discs are free to move. So then what do you mean by stationary? See, if it is rotating means I should call about rotating about an axis, and that axis is stationary. Axis is not moving, but the disk is free to move. Okay, this is what happens. So what all here you are having? Collision, conservation of linear momentum, friction will act, angular impulse, angular momentum equation, then all that one. So now it's telling E equal to zero. So all three mixed ideas we are bringing, and torque, everything we are going to introduce here. I think all of you write the question first so that I'll teach because you'll understand. Now don't put rolling. I think read horizontal frictionless surface. They're lying. So it's simple. Two carom board coins. This coin is rotating and this coin is moving towards it, and they're kept on smooth horizontal surface. So don't draw like this. Sir, here rolling friction will act. Smooth horizontal frictionless surface. Horizontal frictionless floor. How the weight will act? Weight will act into the plane of paper, at least fine. Okay, let's get into the problem. So they'll come and collide. Finally, what happens? The disc will come and collide, no? After collision, what will happen? So during that collision, what will happen is what we have to see here. I'll just magnify the diagram so that what all diagrams I'll show, no, it'll be easy for you. Let me take this. There's a center of the disc. No? Now, this will be O1 and O2. It'll go and collide, no? So slight deformation here, slight deformation here. So that they're in fact they're in contact. Yeah, slight deformation. Because don't show deformation more. If you show deformation more, what will happen? Moment of inertia will become a problem. So slight deformation. I'm showing that strip and understood. Okay, for our understanding purpose. Okay, let's come for this one. What is the angular velocity of this? This was having angular velocity omega naught. The moment they come in contact. So what is the velocity of this point? And impulse will act first. and the impulse will act here like this. Then it was having angular velocity, so this was the omega 2. So then now the friction force here should act here. So mu F. And so this friction force what will set up a torque, and because of that angular velocity decreases. Earlier it was omega naught, now it has become omega 2. Fine. Omega naught, now omega 2. Okay, keep it here now. And after this, how the friction will act on the disk 1. The disk 1. How the friction should act on the disk 2. On the disk 1 should be in this direction. Mu n, no? So some normal contact. And this friction what happen will set up a torque, and it will make the disk 1 to acquire angular velocity omega 1. Will I agree this? Why omega 1, omega 2 should be like this? Okay, come for this one. Next again, this impulse J which is acting. So what it will do? It will make the disk to acquire a velocity like this. V2x. This friction force mu n which is acting will also act, will make it to move in this direction. Okay, are you getting this one? Why V2x? Because of this impulse. Or because of this normal contact, you can put it. Or if you're getting confusion, if you want, I'll write n into delta t will become impulse. This also impulsive friction will act. So let me show time being mu n only. Or fine, no problem. Anything? Okay, now because of that, what happens? This will acquire v1x because of this force. Because of this mu n delta t, this will acquire a velocity. So v1 y, so this will be v2x. What happens to this one? This impulse will act towards left, opposite to velocity u naught. So let it have velocity v1x. I think this is the preliminary thing which a student has to generate. Okay, let's get into the problem here now. Let's talk about the total system. What is the net force acting on this system? Along y-axis, mu n delta t, mu n delta, 0, no? So therefore, what should be the net force acting on system along y-axis? 0. So therefore, momentum must be considered of total system. What was the initial momentum along y-axis? 0. Final momentum. And both the disks are having same mass and same radius. So what you can say about V2y and V1y must be equal. So I'm talking about the system. So now you will write the equations here. Let both the disk be the system. Then net force along y-axis is 0. So net impulse is 0. So because of that, what happened? Initial momentum should be equal to final momentum. Initially, what was the momentum? You say this is initial. And so call this is a sum final. Or I'll give one more diagram. Finally, what will happen? Will they be in contact like this only for all the time? Now, this again, your physics should be brought into the picture. Will there be contact like this for all the time? If you say yes, then I cannot help you. I'm telling this one. I'm very frankly, I want to speak. If you say, sir, they'll be in contact with all the time, means then nobody can help you in this aspect. Finally, what will happen? Will they lose contact, or they'll be in contact like this for all the time? Look at the velocities. At least bring the idea of laws of motion. You know many things. Finally, will they be in contact like this for forever? Because sir, E equal to 0. Who said that E equal to 0? They must be in contact. It's a two-dimensional collision. Because of the V2y and V2x, it will move like this, no? Because of V1x, V1y, it will move like this. So what do you expect finally? They lose contact, no? So finally, what happened? I see that this is having omega 1, omega 2. This is having the same diagram. I just shown there. They will lose contact finally. When they're about to lose contact, that's what we say final. This is the final. This is the intermediate diagram at any time t. You can say like. So I think we have everything. So let's write conservation of linear momentum. So what is the initial momentum along y-axis? 0. And final momentum m v1y m v2y. So finally, what do I get? v1y equal to v2y equal to vy along x-axis. Along x-axis, so I can write initial momentum. So I'll proceed like this here. Let me write impulse equation because I could have written directly. So let me write in terms of impulse so that you will get a basic idea of that one. Or sir, can I apply conservation of momentum along x-axis also? Yes. What was the initial momentum? mu naught. And what is the final momentum? What is the final momentum? So let me proceed in this way. And now let both the disks be the system. I think this is something I'm revolving in. So initial momentum mu, final momentum m v1x plus m v2x. Okay, what about v1x and v2x? We don't know that. So let me analyze individually. That's what the problem. Both are unknowns are there. So what shall we do? On disk 1, mu minus j equal to m v1x. On disk 2, j equal to m v2x. Will I agree this? Okay, again you add up. What do you get? The same equation, no? The same equation. So let's get into the collision concept. Huh? You have to bring the collision idea now. E equal to 0 is telling, perfectly inelastic. So I think it doesn't much, not helping us. If you, okay, I just shown this. But if you add up this to again, we'll end up this equation. Let's bring it to the collision as E equal to 0. Tell me what will happen. Final happen, both what happen will undergo say maximum deformation. At maximum deformation happen, both must have common velocity according to collisions. As E equal to 0, v1x must be equal to v2x. Let me call vx. Because of E equal to 0, I'm able to write, otherwise not possible. Agree this, why v1x must be equal to v2x? Because E equal to 0. Sir, like still we are not getting, see like actually that this one will go and collide, they'll undergo maximum deformation. And at maximum deformation, both must have common velocity. Agree this, and in inelastic collision happen, both will have common velocity. That's what here. So therefore from that I'll substitute mu is equal to m v1x plus m v1x. So therefore what is v1x equal to u by 2. I think also what is v1y? I think there's a one very best equation is what we have generated just with the help of collision idea. Without this not possible. Huh? I just highlight it. And this is one something conservation of momentum here. Huh? There's a one picture. So, but they are rotating, they are colliding, impulse is acting, angular momentum, angular impulse is acting. Let it be. We are just talking about the collision phenomena here. That's what this question. Okay, now after this, what was our main question? We have to find out the velocity v1x, v2x, v1y, v2y, and what is the final angular velocity. That's all our question. Let's get into the finally what will happen. There's a point p1, this p2. So velocity of this point will be vp1. Now look at this. Again, I'll go back to the question. If the collision is perfectly inelastic and slipping between the disc ceases in the end of collision, I think for why you are writing equation, because the question given that condition, I'm writing it. If the collision is perfectly inelastic and slipping between the disc ceases in the end of collision, means the moment both will acquire common velocity at that instant, what happen? Vp1 will become equal to Vp2. You should not blame me, sir, like why you are writing the equation, because the question condition is given. So when the slipping ceases, the moment what will happen? The collision is about to end, the slipping ceases. So when V1x equal to V2x, then Vp1 equal to Vp2. Condition is given. So according to given condition,
Sir,
most of everything fine, Mark. Just listen. No need of doubt. Huh? Please do listen. Huh? As condition given in question, so Vp1 equal to Vp2. Now, what is Vp1? What is Vp1? In the end, you can ask it. Let me finish off this one. What is Vp1 is equal to? Look at this. It is having tangential velocity and also open V1y. No, so Vp1, what we can write it as? Vp1 should be equal to V1y plus R omega 1. Let me write here. Vp1 is equal to V1y plus R omega. What is Vp2? Vp2 should be equal to R omega 2 minus V2y. Why we are writing in this way, this equation? Because the body is having both the disk 1 and 2, both are having rotating as well as translating motion. So what is V1y should be equal, Vp1 should be equal to V1y plus R omega 1. Vp2 is what? R omega 2 minus V2y. V1y is equal to V2y. From where? From here. So therefore this should be what? Vy R omega 2 minus Vy. So 2Vy equal to R omega 2 minus omega 1. There's one more. The equation is what we have. After this, what is omega 2 omega 1 is unknown. No? From where to bring other equations? I'll go for, I'll look at the diagram. Let's look at the final diagram. So let me define one point. That they're in contact. In fact, they're in contact, just about to lose contact. This one. Shall we define the angular momentum? And okay, then I'll do one thing. I can paste diagrams, no? Yeah. Now I'm bringing the conservation of angular momentum. So initially, just before this two, this and this one. Now look at this, and this is that point P. What was the initial angular momentum? About point P. So what is that? Looking at these two diagrams, this is the initial and this is a final. No, LPZI. But sir, like a friction will act, okay, but it will intersect axis of rotation. The moment they come and they collide, no, so what will happen? Friction will act here. Of course, the friction will be equal and opposite. Go back again here also. The first diagram, very first, mu n delta t, mu n delta t. Impulsive friction is acting. J is also acting. So if what is the point P? Point P is here. Point P is here. Exactly on that back black dot, like a strip what I put, no, exactly at the midpoint of that one. So look at the what is the net impulse? 0. What is the net, this one, torque, impulsive torque? That is also 0. Angular impulse also 0. So therefore angular momentum is conserved of the system of the two disk about this one, LPZI of the two disk, not individual disk, of the total everything. What is initial angular momentum? Looking at this, what you can see, this u naught will intersect axis of rotation. This u naught intersects axis of rotation. So therefore angular momentum will be only due to this it will come, and how much it should be equal to IO to omega naught. And there's no translating motion for the disk 2. Keep it here. But select it is passing through point P and you are writing O2, but you should write IPZ. What is LPZI? Should be equal to angular momentum due to translating motion plus angular momentum due to rotating motion about center of mass. There is no translating motion. So only due to rotational motion, how much? I/O2 omega naught. And what is the sense of this? Like this. This is the initial angle, this much only. What about, sir, why there is no angular momentum due to U naught? That U naught will intersect axis of rotation? This is for disk 2 and this one will be 0. Finally, let's write equation. What's happening to this 2? It is having translatory motion. Is it having any translatory motion? Yes, due to like a V2y. So how much it should be? Minus M2y, shall I write, or plus M2y? Minus M2y. Initial angle. I'll give the directions, okay? MV2y r, small r. And then due to rotating motion, IO2 omega 2. This is for this 2. Plus this one will be M V1y small r. What about that angular momentum? Will be like this. Now look at carefully the diagrams, what all I give. Is it okay? So you stand here and curl it. Curl your fingers. So anti-clockwise, I'll take positive. Clockwise, let me take negative, that one. Clockwise, I'll take negative. So this will be what is I naught, and we know I naught 1 as they are identical. Mr square by 2. Let me substitute all. Mr square by 2 omega naught is equal to M. I think this is Vy minus Mr square by 2 omega 2. This is also anti-clockwise, no? So then this will be M Vy r anti-clockwise. This will be negative omega 1. Omega 1, omega 2 are different. V1y is equal to V2y. Just now we have shown it, no? Solving this, what we'll get? We'll get expression for relation between omega 2 and, so I think if I solve this one, anybody value? But we don't know omega 1, omega 2. I think omega 2, omega 1 and Vy is there. So how many unknowns are there? Omega 2, I'll list out. I think, okay, this one here. Anybody just solve it. Huh? Anybody, if you tell me that equation, I'll proceed further. MVYR, MVY to MVYR, and MR you can take outside. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll simplify. None of you are responding. R omega naught to 2VY, 2VY plus R by 2 omega 2 minus omega 1. So let's do one thing. Give equations 1 and 2. What is value of omega 2 minus omega 1? Value is how much? 2Vy by R. That you substitute here. Solve it. You'll get Vy in terms of V naught. So put 1 into, at least anybody, value of this? Vy and omega naught are omega 2 minus omega 1, right? 2 Vy by R. Okay, okay, this one. Yeah. R omega naught by 6. Okay, thank you. Keep equation 3. Okay, something what happened? I got Vy. So what is needed now? Vx is needed, no? Something Vx is needed, and Vx already we know. It is equal to how much Vy we got it. And Vx is what? Already V1x equal to U by 2. Look at this. So Vx we know. Now what happened? We brought Vy. Now what is next needed? Omega 1 and omega 2. How to bring omega 1, omega 2? We need lot of some space here. I'll finish off that one. Okay, almost we are at the end of the problem. Anybody after this? Omega 1 and omega 2. So let's go for on individual disk, the angular momentum on individual disk, angular impulse. So what is initial angular momentum on the disk 2? I'll write it. Disk 2. Initial angular momentum I naught to omega naught minus an impulse will act J into R. Some impulse or let's not bother that one. And finally what happened? It will become I naught to omega 2. Then similarly, an impulse will act on what? So this is what on disk 2. This is on. So, but we don't know that impulse. Let's not. But what all that angular impulse act will be equal and opposite. I think I gave symbol J theta. Can you remember? So the entire problem here is what happened. You are trying to find out some things which are not needed. So there's some impulse, angular impulse. We are not bothered that sir, we don't know mu, we don't know that n, we don't know that time. But at least shall I say that angular impulse is what? There is some angular impulse, and that angular impulse acting on the disk 1 and 2 are equal and opposite. Will agree? Think logically. This impulse acting will set up a torque. This impulse acting will set up a torque. So angular impulse will act here. So it will decrease angular velocity of this. It will increase angular velocity of this. That angular impulse, angular momentum equation. I know, I don't know that J theta. We don't know J theta, write it. J theta unknown. No problem. We can eliminate. So I naught mr square by 2 omega naught minus, I'll add up one step. I naught omega 1 equal to I naught omega 2. I think this moment of inertia will get eliminated. So what is omega naught equal to? We'll get omega 1 plus omega 2. This is equation 4. Do we have any relation between this one? Omega 2 minus omega 1. So shall we take help of equation 1, 3 and I'll substitute in where? In 4. Omega naught, what we can write? 6 Vy by R. And what is Vy equal to R omega 2 minus omega 1? Solving that, we'll get the required answer. I'll write all the steps once again. So as we know, 2 Vy are equal to omega 2 minus omega 1. Now Vy is how much? Omega naught R by 6. Small r. So here omega naught by 3 equal to omega 2 minus omega 1. Call this equation 5. 4 and 5. Solving it, we'll get omega 2 equal to 2 omega naught by 3 and omega 1 equal to omega naught by 3. Okay, fine. So finally what will happen? We know angular velocities, we know linear velocities also. So this is our answer. So what is the velocity of the one, the this one? What you should write? Should be Vx square plus Vy square. I think there's a velocity of the speed of each disk. And what is the angular velocity? We know it. And what is Vx square? U square by 2. And what is Vy? Vy is something we brought like this, R omega naught by 6. final answer, I'll write it. You can check later on. Omega naught by 3. This what in the books they're given. This will be the speed of each of the disk. This will be final. I took 1 by 2 outside. At the end of the collision, V1x must be equal to V1y. I think long back we have discussed, no? This one. Okay, later on you see, I think if you put one more effort, all this one, because problem has become lengthy. Okay, let's come to the other set of problems. These are, okay, that I just pick up those problems that will help us a lot to learn so many ideas, you see. System, disk, two disk if take system. Like this, you can also think, nothing wrong. Okay, come to the question now. Read the question. Meanwhile, I'll have water. Okay, meanwhile you try it, I'll finish off the diagram. Okay, these are the two disks are there and they're connected by a rope. There's a midpoint. This is being pulled with a velocity u. There's a string, no? The midpoint on the string is held and it's being pulled. Find the velocity of approach of their centers when angle between the thread segments becomes 2 theta. Okay, see now after this what you can do. So this is the velocity of, how do it move? I think it must move like this only, no doubt. I think it's asking this velocity here. How to obtain that one. So I'll take help of the further few diagrams. I'll keenly make observation here. Now, this is what the radius, inner radius is R, radius of outer flanks of the bobbin is eta times that of the inner spool. So this is R if you take it. This radius will be eta. You show for any one. So this is theta, then this should be theta according to the mathematics. So there's a point A, there's a point P, and there's a point P. Now, what is the state of this like a bobbin? Will it roll? No, it's telling, I think somewhere is telling. The bobbins roll. Roll means what? It will have both translation as well as rotational motion. So it will also have now the angular velocity. Get into the problem. What is there's a string, no? So the length AP remains constant. Length AP, length AP of thread. What is telling thread? Length AP of thread must be constant, as it is inextensible. As it is, bring the constant equation. What is the velocity of point P? Or the speed of point P? VC plus VC sine theta VA should be equal to, or VP should be equal to VA along line PA. What is a VP? VP should be equal to VC sine theta plus R omega C. Should be equal to, what is VA? VA should be equal to U cos theta. And what is small? And okay, after this we'll go for omega. What is omega? For pure rolling is telling one more. So what should be the velocity of point P1? Should be 0. When it will be 0? When VC is equal to eta R omega C. So what is omega C? What you can write as VC by eta R. So VC sine theta R omega C will be VC by eta R U cos theta. So R get cancelled. So VC eta sine theta plus 1 by eta U cos theta. So what is the velocity of center of mass will be eta U cos theta by 1 plus eta sine theta. What is the velocity of approach? 2 VC. Because they're more opposite to each other, no? So therefore this will become 2 eta U cos theta by, this will be our answer. Just some constraint equation. Like this also can be answered. You have to be careful. Constraint equations can also be set for you. You have to be very alert. This is for rolling, pure rolling. Rolling at ground. Okay, make observation. I'll scroll down. I think I'll come for this one. Evening, I'll take 1 hour class because other concepts are there still. Still more, some better good problems are there. We'll take 1 hour class in the evening also. Okay, come for this. Spool of bobbin rolls without slipping on horizontal track. Okay, we'll see some good problem. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll take this one. We'll do this one because exactly half an hour time is there. We can finish off. Again, this little bit lengthy problem is there. And this is some other diagram. Read the question. We have a cone. Read carefully. So some two-dimensional motion, rigid body motion in 2 dimensions, what we are discussing. I'll construct the diagram. Meanwhile, you put effort. There's a cone of rough diagram. The cone is rotating, so it is able to understand this particular thing. So this line O1 and O2, O1 and I think as in the question he has made C. O1 and C will be at same horizontal line, and this particular some structure, they will be at same horizontal line. Means exactly what is this? This distance will become equal to R. This is some, you can say like a inch. Don't bother about it much. I'm going to rotate now. So there is two angular velocities. So one, it will have a spin like this. Then another, it is a spin. So because of this omega 2 like this angular velocity, let me call omega 1. I think that's what the question is asked. Now the velocity of this particular point will be V. This will be linear velocity of the center of mass. And that center of mass certain will move in a circular path. It will move in a circular path that will show it in another circle like this. Okay, agreed now? So that center of mass will be moving at a height on the ground, at a height r in circular path. And let L be the length of, so let L be the length of the cone. Small l, I'll take it. O1C. So what is O1C? Height of the cone. Okay, these are the assumptions we are making it. Okay, let's come for this one. Don't bother anything. Don't get scared. So this particular rigid body, what happened is having now two-dimensional rotation motion. Is it rotating about x-axis? S. What is the angular velocity? Omega 2. It is rotating about y-axis. S. It is with angular velocity omega 1. So you can take the axis here. So this is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. Okay, let's define one by one. We have from the cone, let me take half angle cone. So what is, we have a triangle here. So what is tan theta? Tan theta will be L by R. Let's get into this one here. What is V? You can write it. There's no slipping is telling without slipping or a horizontal plane. Where is the horizontal plane? So I'm not seeing horizontal plane. S. This is the horizontal plane. I think I can't show more than this three-dimensional diagram is there. So this particular edge, now it is in contact with the horizontal plane. No slipping occurs. So no slipping occurs means V equal to R omega 2. The very first idea. So about for no slipping, what we can write, V equal to R omega 2. Then it is also rotating about y-axis. Then V will become tangential velocity. The center of mass will move in a circular path of radius L. Will I agree? Center of mass C moves in a circular path of radius L. So therefore, what is V is equal to? I think I'll write nearby it only. So V is equal to L omega. I think this is the crucial part of the problem. If you're able to break up this much. So like this, that tangential velocity, linear velocity of what is V? What is V? Finally, what is V? Tangential velocity of center of mass of C. And that V is what related to both omega 2, omega 1 by this condition.
Sir,
Yeah.
so shouldn't tan theta be R by L?
Okay, yeah. So, what I wrote diagram. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Now after this, what he's asking, he's asking the find the angular velocity of the cone and angle it forms with the vertical and angular acceleration vector. Omega 1, omega 2 are constant. Magnitude is constant. not omega 1 bar I'm writing omega 1. Only magnitudes are constant. So definitely the answer B will be 0. Let's see, is it 0 non-zero? Fine. Till here, no problem. I think everyone will accept here. Okay, let's come for this one. Omega 1 will change direction. No, omega 1 will be always directed along y-axis. I'll get into the major part of omega 1. Omega bar 1 bar is constant. I'll write it. Constant and directed along y-axis. What about omega 2? At this instant, omega 2 is along x-axis. Now, after some time, will be in this direction. Will be like this, will be like this, will be like this, will be like this. I agreed, all of you. Omega 2. So omega 2, what happens? Shall I say omega 2 vector is rotating? Omega 2 magnitude is constant because V equal to R omega 2. V constant, R constant, pure rolling. But omega 2 direction, what happened? Will be along x-axis. Now it will be there in the, suppose this is z-axis out of the plane. So it will lie in xz plane. Then again at one instant will be along z-axis. And somewhere it will be between xz plane, x minus xz plane. So then at one instant it will be along negative x-axis. At one instant it will be along negative z-axis. Will agree? If you can get this, problem is over. So take some cone and rotate. No, why you are fighting with notebook? If you really want to become engineer, analyze one physically. Finish your what I'm speaking, you'll catch out. So how to get a cone? You don't know how to make a cone. Take cucumber or gourd, anything. Swarakai, I think you call in Telugu swarakai, no? Make it cone shape. Finish your no. Or take paper, make it cone and whirl it. Okay, no, let's get into this one. So there is an angular acceleration because what is the definition of alpha? When there is angular speed changes or direction of angular velocity changes, it's said to be angular acceleration. So now there is an angular acceleration due to what? Due to change in direction of motion. Omega 1 will be along y-axis, but omega 2 what happened? Will continuously change. So what happened to resultant omega bar? It is changing direction. Due to the change in direction of omega, there is angular acceleration. That is asking. So at one instant, omega 2, so let me get into, so here, now first let's look at this circle. So that dotted circle, I'll put it. How omega 1 will show it. Omega 1, we are showing it in this way. So what is the radius of this? This is L, no? Then it will make an angle delta phi. In an interval of time at t equals 0, it is here, t equal to delta t. So how you define omega 1? According to the angular velocity omega 1. Now what is delta phi? Angular distance. The center of mass C what point will move in a circular path. The C which is here after some time will be here. No? I think I'm giving enough best diagrams. At least you should able to understand. And this is L. So what is omega 1? You can write it. Delta phi by delta t. Angular velocity of this. Meanwhile, in that interval of time, the omega 2 initially will be a no. And after some time, able to get this omega 2 vector, you see it got rotated, no? So now is there any change in angular velocity of this one? Delta omega 2, let me calculate. Delta omega. Why that delta omega? Due to change in direction of angular velocity omega 2. How to calculate that one? It's a vector. Earlier omega 2 bar like this. After some time, will be like this. I want that change. So how to bring that change? So this is the initial. This is at t equal to 0. This is t equal to delta t. So how you bring initial final minus initial. So the delta omega, how it should be directed? Somewhere like this. Vector subtraction. So delta omega, what you can write? Omega 2 minus Find the delta omega bar direction. Justified. Okay, no. What is delta omega? How to calculate? Go for vector subtraction. Omega 2 square, omega 2 square, 2 omega 2, omega 2. Cos of 180 minus delta phi, shall I write? Why 180 minus delta phi? Angle between those two angular velocity vectors is how much? I think I'll make it small a little bit so that, yeah. Now everything is available. Just do analyze cleanly. So angle between omega 2 and minus omega 2. See, omega 2 is velocity vector. This is the initial, this is the final. The initial one, I'll put like this. This is the initial. Agreed, no? And omega 2 is what? Final. So angle between them will be 180 minus delta, no? Delta phi. So substituting this, how much I'll get? Delta omega is equal to, finally this will be omega 2, 2 sine square 2 into minus cos delta phi. So if I solve this, I'll end up 2 omega 2 sine of, what is delta phi? Very small. The interval of time delta t I took very small. So sine delta phi will be very small. So finally, how much delta omega will become? Omega 2 into delta phi. What is the final answer will be? Keep it here now. How you define angular acceleration? What is finally delta phi? What you can write? Omega 1 into delta t. I think I have almost everything data in front of me ready. 1, I'll call this is 2. So therefore, what we can write it as like a delta omega is equal to omega 2 delta phi. Delta phi, what you can write it as? Omega 1 into delta t. How you define angular acceleration? Change in angular velocity by time. So omega 2 into omega 1. How they are directed? How that alpha should be directed? How that alpha should be directed? Is it correct? It will be, yeah. No. Omega 1 will be downward, no? So somebody, wait. It's like, okay, thank you. Is it okay, no? So, because I took that one, no? Curl fingers, then the thumb will be in the direction of omega 1. Omega 1 will be along negative y-axis, omega 2 will be along positive x-axis. Then you omega 2 into omega 1 is telling. That is what the alpha. And what is the angle between them? 90 degree. So therefore, I'll bring one very beautiful relationship. So what is the formula? Omega 1 cross omega 2. This is one generalized formula. This is the direction of alpha. How alpha will be directed? Curl it from omega 1 towards, so omega 1 is along negative y-axis, omega 2 is along positive x-axis. Curl from omega 1 to omega 2. The alpha will be along z-axis. The angular acceleration vector. Angular acceleration vector is telling. So it will be along negative x-axis. This is due to what? Due to change in direction of omega bar. This is due to change in direction. This is not due to change in magnitude. So why this alpha? This angular acceleration is due to change in direction of omega bar, not due to change in magnitude. And it is given by this much. But what is the question is asking something value, no? And omega 1, omega 2 not given, we assumed it. I think we have radius, we have V. Can we bring omega 1, omega 2, omega 1? I think we have alpha and radius, slant length, and omega 2, omega 1 is needed. So that if you substitute, you get the required answer. So let me get into the calculation part. And this is a theoretical idea now. So what is alpha? Alpha is, what is omega 2? Omega 2 should be equal to V by R. And what is omega 1? Omega 1 should be V1 equal to L omega 1. So V by L. And what is L is equal to R by tan theta. So therefore V square tan theta by R. Will you agree? I think this was the data given for us, no? This is a magnitude. So why do this alpha? This alpha is due to change in direction of motion. So getting this one. So I think it's like a two-dimensional when you go it, no? Like that, you have to check even the angular acceleration will be there. So then angular acceleration is there means then it's having moment of inertia. Then there must be some torque. Then who is applying torque? I think somebody should rotate it, no? Somebody, in fact, I'm applying some torque, because of that it is rotating. And if you calculate moment of inertia, then you get the torque, that one. Now, what is the angular momentum of this one? Anybody? Angular momentum. This alpha you will not accept. So therefore, I'll take help of angular momentum. The same diagram. Let's calculate angular momentum. At least I think you can see that from angular momentum, you can say, yes, sir, like there is angular momentum is there. I'll come for angular momentum. Yeah, come for. No, is there any angular momentum? Yes, there's angular momentum along x-axis. How much it is? Ix into omega 2. There's angular momentum along y-axis. How much it is? Iy into omega 1. What is the total angular momentum? Lx into Lx bar plus Ly bar. I think if you put in terms of this will be Ix into omega I cap minus j cap. So this will be Ix omega 2 I cap minus Iy omega 1 j cap. Now see that this L bar is not constant. L bar is varying. So if L bar varies, means there should be some torque acting. If torque acting means there should be angular acceleration. At least will you accept your teacher? But sir, we don't know moment of inertia. Can you go back to moment of inertia chapter? I told you how to calculate for a cone about its axis and also about this point. So if you want to find out angular momentum about this one, what you should do? See, this is the use of moment of inertia. You should assume a strip if you're calculating about this axis. So this is a circular disc. First find out moment of inertia of this. Mass this be dm. Then you'll get the Iy. Then similarly about this axis, this one. For I think you have to apply parallax theorem when you're calculating about y-axis. About x-axis, no need of parallax theorem. Do substitute that Ix, Iy, you'll get the angular momentum L bar. So like that, a body is having two-dimensional motion. So they may ask you this angular momentum also. Okay, now one more two-dimensional plane motion. Yeah. Uniform sphere of mass m and radius rolls without sliding over the horizontal plane, rotating about horizontal axis OA. In the process, the center of sphere moves with velocity v along a circle of radius. Find the kinetic range of sphere. I think diagram intentionally not given. Student are supposed to assume the diagram. Rolling motion as you go, no. So the more and more two dimensional you bring, the more better ideas will come. The mixed concept questions are lengthy. Learning purpose very good. I think nobody will ask you. Don't get scared today. What all I discuss, no, nobody will ask you this in exams. But very good for learning because at a stretch you are learning so many ideas. So at least not in the beginning, at the end, or time not permitted. Okay, in the revision program, pick up such problems where multiple ideas are there. At a stretch, you are learning 5, 6 concepts. Oh no, 7 concepts in half an hour justified. Read the questions. I think I'll help you with the diagram. There is a vertical axis and there is a horizontal axis and there is a rod. Then we have a sphere. The center of the sphere will move. This is the length. Circle of radius. I think he has given capital R this is. And the radius of the sphere is small r. And this is green color. I'm just showing it. That is like an axle. Horizontal axle. OA. Take lollipop and rotate it on the surface of the ground. That lollipop will be round, no? And there are two angular velocities are there. One omega 2 and another will be omega 1. If you view from the top, it will be going like this. Huh? There's a top view. It will be like this. So there will be this angle to omega 2 and it is also spinning about its own axis. And there's an horizontal ground. There's everything is on some table. No, it's asking what is the find the total kinetic energy of system. I think definitely what is the moment of inertia about x-axis. So this is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. Instead of sphere, if you make a disk, I think it will be easy for you to understand the diagram. Then it will go around. You can solve for the disk also if you're interested. Agreed? The disk will rotate. So here it will have linear velocity. This will be R, this capital R. The disk will go around no, in circular path of radius R. Take some plate, dining table. You'll be having in kitchen circular plate, no? That you make it to go around about point O, and let it also rotate, and it will rotate about its center of mass with angles to omega 1. It will rotate about point O, about vertical axis of radius r with angles to omega 2. He's asking now what is the total kinetic energy of this? How to bring kinetic energy? So total moment of inertia. So it is having rotational kinetic energy about x-axis, also y-axis. No? So we'll write it equation here. Kinetic energy is equal to kx plus ky. What is kx? Ix omega 1 square by 2. What is Ix? 2 by 5 half into m small r square. No? Radius of the sphere is how much? Small r here. Omega 1 square plus what is a high y? Moment of inertia, how you define? Moment of inertia about its center of mass plus mr square. Please do notice here. Parallax theorem. I think I should go for one more axis here, no? This axis will be parallel to y-axis. So what is the distance that one? In fact, capital R plus small. I think that this I'll extend till here. That this will be very easy for you. For a disk, I think I'm able to show. For the sphere, no, I'm able to get the 3D diagram properly, and it will be like this. Huh? Here, I think it'll be okay. Fine. Solve this, we'll get the required answer. There's a total kinetic energy. So like this, if a rigid body is having, like if it is moving in a plane, just do make observation. And what is the angular momentum? Okay, let's get into that also. What is the angular momentum? Ix omega 1 I cap minus Iy omega 2 j cap. And Ix Iy we know, substitute that. We'll get the required answer. Fine. So everywhere what man think about the kinetic energy and angular. So, now here also, sir, what is the angular acceleration? Same concept you bring. Sir, it's independent of the shape of the rigid body. Let it be, no problem. And it will have tangential velocity. If you see this, v equal to r omega 2, v equal to r omega 1. If you want, you can bring alpha. Similarly, what we did earlier problem, the same concept. This alpha is due to what? Due to change in direction of motion, because omega 1, omega 2 are constant. I think he didn't ask omega 1, omega 2, only v is given. So therefore, omega 1, omega 2, we have to replace. So what is omega 1? Omega 1 equal to v by small r. Omega 2 is equal to v by capital R. So what we know is only velocity of center of mass of the sphere, that is v. In terms of that, I'll express in the end. I think the same set of numerical, the same idea. Here, moment of inertia, a little bit easy, you know already that we are calculating it. Here to practice numericals of this kind, and there's all possibility of asking at least this one. The cone one, okay, little bit lengthy, and the two discs colliding, no, can be asked. See, it's on screen, computer, no, little bit on board. Within 50 minutes, I'll explain all such, because here lack of space, we are unable to proceed fast. In classroom, no, 10-50 minutes is enough for me to solve such big problems, because all attested, all linking, everything we can do it. So do practice some numericals of some multiple concepts, because that is a thing where you learn so many things, like conservation of angular term, conservation of linear term. At a stretch, 5-6 ideas must be there. Such a numericals you pick up. Don't go for mass oriented, which are of no use. I think even the JE advanced, no, they'll try to avoid math based questions, mathematics based integration, that one. Multiple ideas are something very important. Evening we'll have 1 hour class, because still more some good numericals are there. Let me just explain. So why I'm teaching all such lengthy numericals, so that multiple ideas are there where at a stretch you are going to learn. And for student, if you really put effort and solve on your own, still more better idea. You'll get overall picture. Oh, I can think also like this. This is what needed for us. So evening I'll intimate time. I think Venkana sir, when you will take class? Anybody? Timings? Usually Venkana sir's timings. Anybody reply?
Sir, 6 to 7, sir. 6 to 7 or 6 to 7:30, sir.
Okay, I'll do one thing now only. I will put the timing. And you also tell that physics sir needs some extra class. That's what I was taking. So I'll put 7 to 8. I think.
Okay.
7 to 8. 7 to 8 will have class. Okay, love you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. I'll end up the class. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Bye, sir.